I'm going to show you our process for properly setting up metallic substrate printing for your labels. Um, right off the bat, I noticed something that reminded me of your Gambino labels, this background pattern. I guess on the Gambino labels it would have been stripes, but very similar to the same thing. Let's take a closer look at this background pattern. So this background pattern, it has an opacity of 30%. Kind of a good rule when it comes to printing is you want to avoid opacity, period. Printing presses often have a hard time seeing what 30% of this color looks like. I'm not saying that they can't do it, but in metallic substrate printing, you absolutely do not want any transparencies. So in order to get this pattern correct, you're going to want the opacity to be 100%. Okay? And you're going to, instead of changing the opacity to get the right shade of the pattern on the black background that you want, instead of changing the opacity, you're going to leave that at 100%. And instead, you're actually going to choose a color. So let's just match it to the black here real quick. Okay, so you want a lighter shade of this black. You're actually going to want to change the color. Actually, I'm going to change this to grayscale. Okay. So over here, or over here, however you want to change your color. I prefer this over here, but you're actually going to want to change the color of it instead of the opacity to get to the color that you want. That's obviously way too light, but let's just try 90. Let's try 90%. You know, that's probably still too much. Let's try 95. 95. Okay. Okay, so you know, that's close enough for this tutorial video. Okay, so the background pattern is now fixed. It's a solid. It's not transparent. It's not transparent, and so when it comes to metallic substrate printing, you have to think of it a lot of it in layers. Okay, so in normal printing, this feature called overprints down here, all of it is turned off. Okay, this means that nothing is going to print on top of itself. You know what I mean? So your black background and the black pattern are not going to print on top of each other. One is going to print the black color, and the pattern is going to print its own color. In metallic substrate printing, anything that is not metallic actually requires overprints to be turned on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn on, select everything in your document, and we're going to turn overprints on, both strokes and fills. Okay. The next step is you want to add white ink to this. Okay, because anything you're printing on a silver board, and anything that's not metallic is going to have white ink printed under it first, and then the press is going to print on top of that white ink. So I'm just going to copy your little border here. Okay. Let's see here. Select all unused. Let's delete all these swatches. Okay. So now let's talk about programming the white ink swatch. Okay. Basically, we can use any color for white ink except for the color white. It doesn't work that way. So what we actually have to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to change this color to 100% magenta. That's the designated color that we actually use. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to this little swatch thing of the color, and I'm going to drag it over here into this swatch window. If you don't know how to open up the swatch window, it's here under Window, and you'll find it under here, under Swatches. It's right there. Okay. So you're going to open that swatch window up, and you're going to drag this color into it. And then you're going to double click on this color and name it white with a capital W and change it to spot color. That will tell our printing press that this is white ink. Okay. And then you're going to want the white ink actually behind everything. So if I open up your layers here, we're going to want it behind this. Right now it's on the top. So I'm going to just go ahead and drag it behind everything. Okay. So that's all set up correctly. Now, if you want your background pattern to be metallic, which you're going to turn overprints off. You're going to select the pattern, turn overprints off, which is down here. And again, if you don't know how to open some of these windows that are on my screen, you can find them all under Window. And this one is called Attributes for the overprint settings, Attributes. So I'm going to turn overprints off. So it's not going to print on top of that black background. It's going to knock the background out and print directly on this silver metallic paperboard. Now let's do the black background. Okay. Okay, so I've got your black background selected here. All right. And we want this to actually print on top of the whiting, so we're going to leave overprint settings on. Okay. Your pattern has them off, so it's not going to print on the white ink. It's going to knock the white ink out and print directly on the silver paperboard. The black background has overprints on. It's going to print directly on top of the white ink. Okay. The next thing I want to bring out is you have some elements here that you actually want white. And like I said earlier, we can't actually use the color white if we're doing metallic substrate. The printing press assumes that you're printing on white paper. So whenever it sees the color white, it's going to just print nothing there and leave it white. No ink is going to get laid down. So in metallic substrate silver printing, any element that's white on your artwork is actually going to turn silver. Is going to be a silver metallic. Okay, makes sense? So what we actually want to do with all these white elements here, it looks like we have a stroke in here somewhere. Oh, right here. Let's start with the blue. Let's say all this blue you want metallic. We're going to select it all. Okay, we're going to turn overprints down here off. Now all that's going to print blue. Okay. You have this little stroke around this white thing. What we're going to do is we're actually going to expand that. We don't want this stroke part of this block, okay? So now I have separated the two, okay? And we're going to turn overprints off on that. So this little border here is going to be metallic blue as well, okay? Now I'm going to select all the white elements on your document, and I'm going to change it over here to the whiting swatch that we made. Makes sense? Okay. So this is a properly set up metallic substrate job. And so the real main issue is just that transparency on your background pattern. You can't have it 30%, you can't have it 10%. You know, you have to have it at 100%. Does that make sense? Because if you have it at 50%, so the pattern's at 50%, and it's going to, with overprints off, well, 50% of it's going to get printed on the black pattern. I think that's how it works, but that's why you may be seeing inconsistencies between your two jobs. I think that pretty much concludes the video. You're more than welcome to message me or talk to me if you have any further questions. Yeah, I think that pretty much. I'm going to save this file here since it is set up correctly. I'm not sure if the background pattern is the exact color that you want, honestly, but I'm still going to save it just in case. All right. All right, have a good one.